Good morning. Welcome to Lovebabz, Lovetalk. I'm Babz Rawls. It's my Friday, 10 o'clock, and I've got some of my favorite people in here today. The Sisters Journey people. Dawn White Bracey and survivor of 3 years, Denise Patterson. Hello, y'all.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and who better to talk to than Dawn White Bracey? Now, let me tell you something about Sisters Journey, because I had them on last year. And, I have to go hunt them down every October because, they're in demand. And I got to hunt them down and get them on because this is important for us as Black women. So Sisters Journey is a faith-based breast cancer support and advocacy group. The Sisters and Sisters Journey doesn't refer to a woman you share parents with or a woman who is part of a religious order. But these women are united by a common bond that forms a sisterhood. The common bond is breast cancer, and the journey is the months and years of trials and tribulations from diagnosis through treatments of surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation, fighting for survival and a cure. So I'm reading this from the Breast Cancer Wellness magazine that they are featured in for October. I love it. How are you all?
Great.
All right, so Ms. Bracey, what's new? What's new in this world, in this fight for Breast Cancer Awareness Month?
Okay, a couple of things, but right now I don't want to forget to say that next Saturday, October 27th, is our 20th anniversary pink tea.
Whoa.
Yeah.
20 years?
20 years.
I might have to make this one. I've never made one.
I know. We talk about this every year.
Oh, God. All right.
So it's from 1 to 5 at Mohegan Sun.
Uh-huh.
And we do have a bus that leaves from IKEA for those who don't want to drive that long distance. But, it's going to be amazing. So Juan Castillo.
Castillo?
Yes.
Oh, Juan. Yeah, we love Juan.
Yeah, and Wanda Coppage from both from YBC will be emceeing for us.
Next year, I want to be the MC.
Okay.
Just saying. Co-host anyway.
Yeah.
You get somebody really famous, and then I'll get their water and say a few words. That kind of thing. I'll do that.
And so Juan and Wanda will be emceeing for us, and then the gospel group Kevin Monroe and Devotion will be our musical group. They will be doing 2 musical selections, and then we have a survivor from our calendar from 2008, Dolores Burgess. She'll be doing a one-woman play on breast cancer. And,
pull the mic around so you can just swing. Yeah, there you go. Just keep it in front of you. So
okay. So Dolores Burgess from our 2008 calendar will be doing a one-woman play on breast cancer.
Okay.
She wrote a book about her journey, and so she will act out the parts and the characters that were part of her journey.
Okay.
So during the pink tea.
So 20 years.
Yeah.
That's big.
It is big.
And the calendar is going to be like all the folks for the 20 years that have been in the calendar. On the calendar.
Yeah.
And October we're running your Stacy, my soror, Stacy Hobson is the Miss October.
Yes. Yes.
So we pulled it from the website and it's in the Inner City News.
Yes. It's it looks good too. Yesterday was her birthday, and she's away right now, so that's why she couldn't make it today. So happy birthday!
Happy birthday, soror Stacy.
Yeah.
I love her. All right, so Miss Patterson is here. Denise Patterson is a breast cancer survivor of 3 years.
Yes.
How you feeling?
Pretty good. I'm alive.
Yeah. Well, and very beautiful.
Why, thank you.
So tell me, when you first got this diagnosis, what was happening? Tell me a little bit of your story.
Well, I had just had a mammogram, and it was in 2015. I had a mammogram in March, my annual one. Then my breast was throbbing, kind of hurting. The next month I went in, and so that was in April. And they said everything was fine. They would just check it out. And I thought, maybe I'm drinking a lot of coffee because I was getting a degree from Springfield College. So I was up late Because when you're a mother and you're a wife and you wear a lot of hats, you just think, oh, well, I'm just feeling this way because. And so I went in and they told me, you're fine. And I was okay with that answer. But I continued to check my breast even after I had that mammogram. And in September, only 5 months later, there was a lump at 1 o'clock on my breast because your breast is like a dial. And so I went in, but I was reluctant to go back in because of copays. And I said to myself, you know what? It's called bill me. Even if I don't have the money, I'm going to have them just bill me because I need to find out what's going on. This is a lump here. And so I went in and I was just thinking, okay, they're going to do like they normally do, which is, oh, it's okay. So I didn't bring my mother. I just brought myself. My doctor referred me to get an ultrasound. And I went to the ultrasound and I was prepared to just do what I usually do going out the door. But when they came back, he says, no, we see cancer. You have breast cancer.
No, really? Just like that?
You have breast cancer. I was in shock. It was the longest drive home. I cried and I prayed. And I went and I saw my mother because I knew she would reassure me and comfort me. And also she could call on some of her prayer warriors to see me through this. And so I would then share it with my husband. And then they told me that I would need a biopsy. Even though they saw it, they needed to confirm it. So the surgeon called me in and she said, Denise, I will do it in my office, opposed to me waiting a week to go in. It would be a long, long week. And I was thankful for that. And so I went in and she did the test and she said she'll call me. I said, but when you call me, I need to have someone else on the phone with me because I really can't take this news by myself. And I called a good friend of mine, Sherry, when I got the news and they told me you have breast cancer, come in and we're going to tell you what the plan is. The first thing I said to them, am I going to die? Am I going to die?
This is gut wrenching.
Am I going to die? And they said, no, you saved yourself. You found it early. It was a stage 2 and a grade 3. So it was aggressive. And as African American women, we have aggressive cancer. So it was a grade 3. And grades go up to 4. So mine was pretty aggressive because remember, I had a mammogram and another one on March and April. And then I found it myself in September. So you think 5 months it appeared. So
wow.
Really, when I go and I tell my story, that is the most key thing I tell women. Just because you have a mammogram, like I used to do, I used to just say, okay, good. They didn't tell me anything bad. I'm just going to go on home. I'm good for another year. But now that's not so. When you have a mammogram, you need to be checking.
You have to check yourself. Yes.
Yourself. Yes. Because the more you become familiar with your breast, you will know that there is something unusual. If you're never checking, because all of our breasts have density. So you're just going to think, okay, what's this lump here? You don't know. So that is mainly the key thing to breast cancer awareness is advocating for yourself and knowing when something's wrong to say, you know what, I need to take a little bit further. I need a biopsy. Because a lot of times as Black women, we say, okay, they're watching it. We don't really know what to ask. Because these breasts don't come with a handbook. You don't know what to ask. But I'm telling you, for being on this road, that you need to ask for a biopsy. If they tell you they see something, they're going to watch it. Well,
no, I want a biopsy.
I want a biopsy.
And what does the biopsy entail?
It takes it right into they actually use a needle and go into the breast and they draw fluid out of it. And that's what they biopsy.
Does it hurt?
No, they actually numb it.
Okay.
So I just had one because I had an MRI scare actually 2 weeks ago. And they had to redo it. And it brought me back to that day because not only did I have breast cancer, after they got me through and told me that, you're going to be fine, you're going to do some chemo, I went to have surgery after 8 hits of chemo. I went to have surgery and I developed a toxic reaction for the medicine they gave me in the operating room and ended up in Bridgeport burn unit for 7 days.
Oh my God.
With burns to my legs. So not only
from the medicine?
Yep, from Bactrim that they gave me. So it's called Steven Johnson syndrome. And only maybe 10,000, 1 out of 10,000 will ever have it in their life.
You better play Powerball.
I do feel lucky. I feel blessed. Because
you better play, and I better
Yes.
stand right next to you because
Mhm.
you're lucky.
I am very lucky. I am grateful because it was deadly. And so not only did I have the breast cancer, but I had the Stevens-Johnson syndrome, which is a toxic reaction to a sulfur drug. So most people, we don't ask what you're going to give me as a medicine in the operating room. We just think and assume that the doctors know what not to give you.
Yeah.
Well, they really don't, because I am the first person to have it at Greenwich Hospital.
Oh my God.
I'm known as the Stephen Johnson girl. It is. I've been called worse, but that's what I've been. They called me that because my doctor is thank God he stayed with me, because he said my numbers were off, and he put me into ICU, and he said, I got to watch you closely because your heart rate is different and your blood pressure is different. And the next day when they went to go take my blood pressure, the nurse noticed a blister on my arm. And then she said, let me check the other arm. And it was another blister. She called infectious disease, dermatology, and they came from all over the hospital to see me. Then they came back and said, we have to get you out of here because we are not equipped to take care of you.
Oh my God.
And I didn't really know what was happening because, mind you, I had went in to remove the breast.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just, my mind was like, I'm going to,
I'm focused on that.
Exactly.
I don't think about this. I don't even know what
I'm just going to go home with my breast off and then I'll be okay. I'm going down the highway to another hospital. And for 7 days, my entire body peeled and my legs burnt. So I was actually burning from the inside out. But God is good. God is good.
Yeah.
God is very good. He's faithful. And I always just continue to pray for myself and know that I was going to get through this. I told myself I was a survivor on the first day. When they told me you found it early, I started claiming being a survivor.
Mm-hmm. So what was it? Walk me through. So what was the process like?
So the process was, I went to see an oncologist because there's different doctors that do different things, I learned. And there's different types of, what is key is there's different types of breast cancer.
Yes.
I didn't know that. A lot of people didn't know that. And so the one I had was the invasive ductal carcinoma one. And they were going to treat me with 8 hits of chemo. Then I'll have this surgery.
And so the surgery does what?
The surgery, I opted to take the breast off because I had cancer cells at 1 o'clock, and then there's cancer cells at 8 o'clock.
And so you didn't want to risk.
No, I would have to remove so much of it because they have to get everything around there. And so taking it off was the best answer for me.
Mm-hmm. Did you struggle with that? Or are you like, no, this is more important? Being alive is more important than.
Oh yeah, I told them to take it off and throw it out on the side of the road and run over it with their car.
Is this what goes on in these support groups, Dawn?
No, because when you're diagnosed,
she's funny.
You're thinking about your children. You know, my daughter Elise was a freshman in high school, and she's an honor roll student. And I didn't want her to worry. And
she's Miss Black talented teen.
Yes, she is. And I didn't want her to worry. And the first thing she asked me, because it took me 2 weeks to hold this in for my children because I didn't want them to worry. And so when I did tell her, she said, are you going to die? And I said, no, they have a plan. God has a plan and they have a plan, the doctors.
Okay.
So that's what you're thinking about on this journey. Is your family and your children if you're a mom, and just making it through it. So all the other little things were not pertinent to me. Like, do I keep the breast? How am I going to feel? I just didn't want to know. I wanted to know what was the process. How were they going to, because I had to involve a surgeon and a plastic surgeon at the same time. They both have to be on board with you at the same exact time. I was thinking, I'm going to deal with the plastic surgery part at the end. No, they have to be involved at the same process as the surgery.
Okay.
So a lot of people don't understand there's steps to it.
Okay. And so what was your chemotherapy like?
It was pretty easy. My friend Sherry, who has passed away several months ago, she was a 5-year breast cancer survivor. She told me drink a gallon of water a day. And that really kept all the poison out the body because I'm flushing the body. At one point my doctor says, no, that's too much water. And I said, no. I need to flush it out. So there's Taxol, which made my skin itch. And it's funny because the Caucasian people, they don't have the same effect as African-American women.
Wow.
The doctor said, I never had a patient that their skin was itching. But my friend Denise, hers and my skin, she said, the itching is bad. I said, yeah, right? When is it going to stop? So that was the only bad thing. I didn't lose the appetite, which I thought I was going to lose some weight, but that wasn't the case. I said, maybe this is going to work in my favor.
Oh, my Lord. That is hilarious.
Hey, sometimes you got to laugh to stop from crying,
Were there any moments where you were like, okay, this is hard?
Oh, of course. I feared all the time, but as my friend Sherry, and I thought about those who have passed. I had a cousin that died. And, you think about all the people that have died. But me not understanding that their journey is not my journey, that kept me.
Okay.
That kept me to say maybe they had a different, and they never shared. And that is why it's so important to share your story, because they may have triple negative or something that was not curable. Mine is ER positive, so it's driven on estrogen. So they can give me tamoxifen to block it. Because we as women, we make estrogen. So mine is very curable. But then there's some that are not. They're not sure what's the driving force behind it.
Okay.
And so that's why I do clinical trials. I make sure that we as African Americans
talk about that, because
it's taboo. We always think about the Tuskegee Airmen.
We got some history.
We
with,
do. And I always try to emphasize that, because if we're not at the table, they don't know what's driving our cancer. We are being diagnosed and we are dying off, but there's so much medicine out there. Ours are very aggressive, as I stated before. Mine was a grade 3. That 5-month window. Now imagine those people, those women that are not out there getting those mammograms. That cancer cell is really growing and at a rapid pace, more so than our Caucasian sisters. And so that's why I make sure I educate myself. I go to conventions. Yes, there's breast cancer conventions. Just came back from one in Philadelphia, Life Living Beyond Breast Cancer, because I have to continue to educate myself and educate others. So when I'm given the opportunity to share my story, I always, make sure that people know that you need to be out there. You need to be asking your OBGYNs, is there any clinical trials out there that I can be doing? Because they need to know that we as African American women care about it, and that we want to be involved at the table, because the pharmaceutical companies, they can't give us things to heal us, to treat this breast cancer, if they don't know our genetic makeup.
Yeah. So how did you find Sister's Journey? When did you get over there?
Actually, Maggie Gardner, she runs Gardner House in our Hartford area. She said that they were looking for some people for the calendar, and it took me a while, like 3 years, to get into the calendar. I was dragging my feet. I had my story, but then I was dragging my feet, and I was like, oh no, I'll wait till next year, and this, that, and the other. But that's how I met Dawn Brycey, who I've been with her. And she has events, and I'm able to attend. And I like that we show up at different events as, sisters on this journey, because people need to know that they're going to live. Having breast cancer is not a death sentence. It's a chance to give God the grace, and it's a chance to say, you're not going to die. Check your breast, save yourself.
So Dawn, you're carrying on this work, not because you've had breast cancer,
No.
but because your mother.
Yeah.
This was your mother's organization.
Yeah, she had breast cancer. She was a survivor for 12 years, and she was into sister. She had done Sister Journey for 5 years. So, and then my grandmother took it over, and then I usually say that I was pushed into my purpose. My grandmother made me do this. So.
Yeah. Was there ever a moment where you're like, I think I asked you this before, because I see you like once a year, usually this time of the year.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like, I don't want this. Like, I don't want to carry this on.
I can't say that, because I meet people like Denise, and to be able to have her come and do something like this, like to be able to share with so many other people. And
because you're saving somebody's life right now.
Right, exactly.
You don't even know because somebody heard you and they're going to be like, oh, you know what? I'm a
get my mammogram.
Because you've said so many things that I mean, I think you just saved me a little bit because I'm thinking I need to go do some more of this.
Right.
Whatever.
But I think, something that's really sticking with me, that what she said is, even though you go for your mammogram and you think you're all set, you still have to check yourself. Like that's huge.
That was key. This
huge.
was, my eyes just went open. Right. I was like, because I was like her. I was like, I go get it done once a year, and I'm like, oh, out the door. I'll be back next year.
Right. So, how selfish could I be if I have this opportunity to have this platform for people and then I don't take advantage of it? You know what I mean? So does it get to be a lot? Yeah, I have a full-time job. I got 2
but
kids.
We love you for what you do.
Yeah. So, like this calendar cover, like this is huge.
I know. 20 years. I still cannot, and I remember the beginning. Right, because I'm only 55, so I remember. I remember the beginning, and I.
So, I was pushed to my purpose. It seems like this is my purpose, and there's no way I could think of myself. This is so important. And it wasn't my passion, but I've become very passionate about it.
Yeah. Well,
So.
I mean, listen, I think Ms. Patterson made it quite clear that Black women, our cancers are aggressive. And we have got to save ourselves, because I don't know if anybody's going to come save us. We have to save ourselves first. We have to be on the front line of taking care of ourselves and knowing our body.
And I think that when my mom passed away, I know she would want me to learn everything I could possibly learn about this disease. So while I'm learning, why not try to teach others? You know what I mean? Why not share what I learned? So I'm looking at Denise's cute picture here. So she's Miss January of the 2019 Sisters Journey Breast Cancer Survivors Calendar.
Okay. Yay. Yeah. I can't wait to get it.
Yeah.
So Denise, tell me a little bit about your aftercare. What happens after? Like when do they tell you? How do they tell you that you're cancer free?
Well, after the toxic reaction, I would do 28 days of radiation after that. Mine had to be put on hold for about a month because no doctor had ever had a patient that had experienced that. So I had to come to Yale to get a clearance for myself. No doctor told me to do it. But I knew that I called Bridgeport and asked them where did they get their information from, and they said they got it from Yale. So I made an appointment and they gave me a blood test. And they said I was okay. But going back to my oncologist, and because I had a breast expander in my underneath the skin, that's what I had in the operating room. They were going to blow it up, and there was a procedure. I couldn't have an MRI. Most of the time, you get an MRI after you finish the procedure to make sure there's no more cancer in your body. But they also do an autopsy on the breast that they remove, and so they can tell you exactly like you was a stage 2B. And they can give you more in-depth of it. So I caught it very early, so there was no chance. But, every little ache and pain, you're like, oh, is it that? And you have pain from the chemo. Like your legs hurt. My legs hurt. But I just keep pushing myself. So there's just routine checks. Every 3 months I go and see a doctor. And then it's a rotating with the surgeon and with the oncologist. So they're always checking because I still have the right breast on there. It's, I still have to get the mammograms.
Okay.
Yes. So I still have to get the mammograms. I just had the deep flap surgery done June 1st.
What does that mean?
Meaning they use your stomach tissues to build a breast. So it's almost like a free tummy tuck. Hey. Hey, you got to get something out of the deal, right? So, because I was frightened and fearful of going back to the operating room, it took me 2 years to get back. So this past June 1st, I went back to the plastic surgeon, in which he was scared too.
Really?
But he got me through. Yep. He had me work with the infectious disease team.
Oh, because of that scare that happened. Okay.
And so, he was able to get me out of there, and I'm alive. So that process, and so I'll go back next month and do another process. So there's tweaking that goes along.
So do they recreate a breast, or
they actually they create a breast out of your stomach fat. They use the skin.
Lord, I'd be out of there like Dolly Parton with this.
Yep, you're able to. Yep, they use the stomach fat, your own body, to put it.
That way, your body won't reject it, right?
Yep. And so you're familiar with it, and so they'll go back and shape it and do some other stuff. So it's like a process to it. I will always be on this journey if I keep this breast. But there's other types of cancer, because sometimes it turns into metastatic if it moves to another location. And I met a lady in Philadelphia, Theresa, and hers moved beyond the breast. Her organization is called Living Beyond the Breast. And it moved to her brain, her leg, and she's still going 20 years stronger. And she was pregnant during the time when she was diagnosed. And she said, and her daughter just graduated from some University of Alabama State, actually.
Oh, Lord.
So,
wow.
And I said to her, what do you do different, Theresa? Did you start eating different? She said, no, honey, I got rid of my husband and start trusting God more. So she's out there and she's advocating for us. She's down in DC. She was on Good Morning America.
Oh my God, that is hilarious.
It is.
This is so much fun.
But it's giving us hope, and it's giving somebody out there that, they've been re-diagnosed. That could have been me last week, because I was waiting on a diagnosis just on Wednesday to see, because they saw something at 6:00 on this right breast, but it wasn't so.
Now, do you ever think, okay, I'll make the decision to have the right one moved?
Oh, yeah. They talked me out of it June 1st, but now we're going to go back to reevaluate, because they said you're fine, you don't have anything. But my psyche doesn't do well with the should and maybe. I don't do good with that. So I need to get rid of this one too. Yeah. So we're going back to have a conversation.
Really?
We're going back to have a conversation of removing that breast too, because really I wanted it done at the same time. What he did was do a breast reduction on it to make it, where he could go back and save the nipple, because when you do reconstruction, there's certain things like you lose all of it. But I was thinking, okay, fine, I'll have a nipple on that side, but no, nipples have breast tissue in them too, and so it could have something in there. And so, no, I will just, get rid of everything.
Okay.
And have a reconstructed the full side, a total mastectomy.
So now, is this the kind of conversation that you have with your husband?
I control this body.
Okay.
But, because, no. The other women might do that, but I have to, I'm kind of crazy, so. He don't even want to deal with it, because it's been a rough 2 weeks, me waiting on the biopsy report. It's been very stressful for me and my children. And so again, my daughter was really stressed out, us waiting on to hear that I was all clear on that side, if it had returned.
Well, I mean, that's pretty bold, because I hear these stories of women struggling with whether or not because the breasts are so they conjure up so many things for people, and women feel like their womanhood is connected to the breast in a way that I don't know, that living isn't. I don't know, but women have a hard time. I hear these stories about how challenged women are about when the doctor suggests or strongly says, you need to remove. And then I see some women who are like, I carry the gene. I'm just going to do it because I don't even want the headache of having to deal with that down the line.
Right.
So, but you are pretty bold. I mean, you seem very affirmed.
Oh, yeah. I have arrived. There's no doubt. I can't have it, that in the back of my mind all the time. It's just like when they send women home to say, we're going to watch that spot.
You're like, no. But that's pretty significant that you took the matter into your own hand and said, look, I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait and watch. Let's get on this.
You have to advocate for yourself. You have to be very demanding with these doctors that you're making the best decision for yourself and your family, for you, because it's all about you at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do what's going to make you live.
So how has the Sisters Journey support groups been helpful to you? Did you attend any of those?
Well, actually, because I'm in the Hartford area, I don't attend their support group, but I do go to the Maggie Gardner's. And I would suggest all breast cancer survivors, and especially new ones and young ones that are just beginning their journey, to go out, because talking to another breast cancer survivor is very vital. You can talk to your husband. I can talk to I can talk to my daughter, but I have to talk to someone that has been there.
Okay.
Because they're going to understand that my legs hurt.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to understand that certain things, and I can say, okay, that's happening. That they're experiencing that too. Okay, it's not just me.
Mm-hmm. Or they could give you some insight on how to handle something.
Absolutely.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do this, drink that, go here, go there, do this.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So you need that sisterhood.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important that Dawn continues those meetings.
So Dawn, how often do they meet, and where are these meetings? The Sisters Journey.
They meet the third Tuesday of every month at St. Luke's Church on Whaley Avenue.
They're still meeting there?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
From the beginning. Yeah, from the beginning.
I know.
Yeah, and for 20 years they've been meeting there, same time, same place. The group has evolved a little bit, but it's as strong as ever.
And so how long do those meetings last?
Between 5:30 and 7:30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And they're monthly?
Yes.
Or monthly?
Yes. Every
Okay.
month. Yeah,
and
monthly.
how many women are in there? Like, what's the average number?
About 12 to 20.
That many?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of women.
Yeah, and we have guest speakers that come every so often. Most of the time they speak amongst themselves though, and it's pretty powerful. With just them speaking amongst themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, so Sisters Journey was started by my mom, Linda White Epps. She got together with Yvonne Watson and Barbara Winters and my grandmother Phyllis White.
I know all those women.
Yeah,
I knew all those women.
Yeah, so we're continuing it in their honor, and like Denise says, I mean, she's new to it, but she feels as strongly about it as it did, back in the day. So, but I'm able to do this. I mean, it is an organization. I have board members, friends. I mean, I have a big support group too, in terms of helping me, pull all this together. So, and you'll see them all running around next week when you come to the Pink Tea for the first time.
I'm coming.
So, but the one thing that I want to say, and I don't want to miss, is if you're over 40, we all know, get a mammogram.
Mm-hmm.
If you are under 40 and have a family history, get a mammogram. And there's something we talked about before. If you're adopted, you don't know your family history.
Yes, because my children are adopted.
Yeah. So if you don't know your family history, you can get screened earlier. If you're told you have dense breasts, make sure you ask for an ultrasound.
Mm-hmm.
And if you aren't any of those things, you should at least do your self breast exam.
Okay. And then Denise brought up another good point, that she learned that there are all different kinds of types of breast cancer, because I don't think most people know that. And as I was doing some research, I was looking at all the different types: inflammatory breast cancer, what you said,
ER positive,
that's estrogen driven,
negative, yep, metastatic, triple negative. So all those different ones.
And so it's good to know that, so that you don't just walk out there and think, oh, I don't think I'll have breast cancer, whatever. Go get yourself checked.
And it's at any age. I met a young lady at 22.
Wow.
22 years old.
That's very
with the
young.
same diagnosis as me. So yes, doesn't matter if your breast
is she
hurting.
still alive?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She just did the treatment. She's a 1-year cancer survivor. So
okay. So 3 years out, how's it feel?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Wake up every day grateful.
Yeah. So now, have you changed your lifestyle or your diet at all?
Yeah, I try to eat a balanced meal and try to get some exercise in. That's really thing that they want you to be doing, exercise. Right now I'm running hard this race. My daughter is going off to college, so she's doing a lot of college applications and different things. So getting to bed awfully late, helping her look for this money, this scholarship money, because she wants to go HBCU. So
where are you looking at, honey? Oh yeah. My sister went to Spelman.
So yeah, that's where we off this year.
I've got nieces and nephews. I have nieces and nephews at Howard, and good friends who came through Howard. So Howard is the mecca.
So, but yeah, I definitely and I was exercising right before I was diagnosed, and while having surgery, my arm is limited, the mobility during the operation, during having the expander. So that's kind of made me depressed in some ways because I took a hit with my mobility to use my arm, but I just keep saying to myself, I'm alive.
But will the mobility get better?
I think going back to have a conversation with the surgeon.
Okay.
And getting it right.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I'm alive.
I am glad you are alive.
Thank you.
Dawn Bracey, when is the Pink Tea?
Saturday, October 27th.
20-year celebration.
20 years, yeah.
And what's the website so people can, if they want to rush to get their tickets?
Sistersjourney.org.
And there's a bus trip if y'all don't want to drive your little selves up to the Mohegan Sun Casino.
Yeah, the tickets are $50 and the bus is an additional $20.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for being here this year.
Thank you for having me.
I'd like to have you. I like to see you a little bit more than once a year.
Okay. Well, one of our other events or something. I don't know. Black History, Women's Health Month will come.
Yes,
How about that?
come back for yes, Women's Health Month. Let me know when that is, and then we'll do a whole other thing, and we'll keep it in the inner city too. So thank y'all for coming. I appreciate you, Miss Patterson.
Well, thank you for having me.
I appreciate you, Miss Dawn.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you, Miss Elise. Miss Elise is Miss Black Talented Teen, and she's quite beautiful. So thank y'all for coming in this morning. And October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Get yourself checked. Do your own breast exams. Miss Patterson told us you need to know your own breast.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harry. Play us out with some.
Okay, let me drive like Mad Hatter. Oh.
Wheels keep spinning, wheels keep spinning.